Good morning, everybody. We're going to have a talk here. It's Monday morning, super early out east, really early out west, but I'm going to do the video anyway. I had it out yesterday with a number of Alberta conservatives. One of the parties, the Western Independence Party of Alberta, rolled out new policies, and they're special interest orientated. They come just like liberals and conservatives. An important talk we have to have today when people talk, whether it's independence or something new for Canada, when really it's not new at all, and it's the same autocracy, same built-in systemic problems that always start with the Crown, end with the Crown, and we're going to get into that today. And that is on the idea of tariffs. What are tariffs for? Why they exist in international law, where that history comes from, and why Canada last policies, whether it's adopted in a province, territory, or on the federal scale. We have to have this very important talk, Canadians, because it's you who's being put last, and it's you who will always be under the boot of politicians. When we get into tariffs are a universally used instrument to protect an international law signed in 1945. Part of the problem of why World War I and World War II happened. It's all about exploitation of working men and women all around the world. Some nations believe you don't deserve any kind of equality of person. You don't deserve fair value for the services or products you provide. You go out, you harvest products, or you create services in this world. The world promised that anybody, whether it's business or by the sweat of your brow or the might of your mind, if you put into something and you provide a service to the world that people want, you should be paid a fair wage for that service. That nobody on this earth is supposed to be subject to less than a minimum standard of living. It's right there in the UN Charter, ratified, signed by every nation on this earth today. Every single one with nation status signed it. But we know that's not the case. A lot of countries decide, you know what, in their supremacy or their broken systems, like our own country, Canada, we can ignore this. We can pretend it's not true. We can have businesses come forward and tell you, oh, no, Canadians don't want to do these jobs. And so we have to import people from countries where they have a super low human rights scale, lower standard of living, import them to our country, house them, pay them below rates to do a job so that the product is viable. So companies say. This is where tariffs come in. They're utilized by some terrific nations, democratic nations in this earth today. USA uses that all the time. Many nations do. UK, not so much. As well, Canada, not so much. Because they believe in inequality. Absolute lowering the bar of the human condition. You use tariffs like this. So if a government is true to its people work, we know they do. Why would McDonald's be worth $15 an hour, but somebody working out at a farm, harvesting honey, working with bees, is not worth even $15 an hour? Probably subject to living in horrid conditions. I've been through this across Canada. I use this example, the migrant farmer. I see it here in Ontario. I know it's huge. I know it's not as big, but it's there in Alberta, and I know those special interests. We talk about the family farm, and these corporations say they can't even compete with the family farm, so we erode our agricultural industry. We erode it year after year, destroying it, because the government says it's better to compete on third world scales, sell our products for peanuts using pretty much slave labor policies inherited from crown colonialism. That's the ultimate truth. Whereas other nations impose tariffs so that way their domestic producers, when the shelves are stocked at the store, at least domestically, those who import from countries that have serious human rights abuses get tariffs placed on them, meaning it doesn't matter how cheaply you made the product. The price gets raised so that taxation is placed into your country, and when people go to buy the product off the shelf, they're relatively the same price. So people will choose. Now you can say, oh, but it'll drive costs of certain products up. Well, you know what? There are a ton of products out there that run on fair wages and they're not jacked up through the roof. Other countries will compete. They'll become more technical and labor won't be the issue. This is a race to the bottom. In Canada is absolutely guilty of the race to the bottom, the absolute inequality, and all the BS they sell you. Canada is one of the countries that is perpetrating this gross human rights atrocity today. Your Canadian government, and every time a party comes forward and brings this policy, and then they turn around and try to say, oh, you're a communist, it's like, excuse me, you're a fascist. I'll go into the rest, but I'm not going to swear on this video. That is the reality of the world we live in today. Canada is exploitative and is always in to put Canadians last. And then the foreign interests come in here, they import labor, it goes to grand scale. We see it all over Canada. We see the destruction of many industries. A lot of countries fight back, not Canada. Canada is a perpetrator. It's embedded in our crown colonial system. It's always been there. And it always will be until we say enough's enough. Do you think a majority of our allies support any of the policies of Canada of putting Canadians last, importing labor? Do you think that strengthens or weakens our relations? It weakens them. At least with a majority of the democratic countries fighting for your standard of living, trying to put you where the world promised it was going to go. Canada doesn't go that way. Canada goes with absolutely a first, second, third class system, keeping you down. Conservative, liberal, and now even NDP. There are, labor supporters that will always fight this. Yes, unions lead in this area. But Albertans or Canadians at large, because it is a problem right across Canada, this is a fundamental issue in the world today. Where do you want to be? Do you say it's okay for certain industries to kill the bar and say it's okay, race right to the bottom, while others seemingly function on that international stage all right as rain because it's visually right in front of us? The government doesn't want people to see that lower standard. This is what we have to address as Canadians. Another part of a broken confederation tied to colonialism. Learn the truth. Don't give big corporations excuse to come and rape you. It's bad enough we have no sovereignty. It's bad enough our domestic companies are going down the toilet while internationals are rising up. Look at agriculture across Canada. It's been going down the toilet, being replaced by the corporate farm, the big oligarchs, and I promise you, foreign fed, foreign influenced, and we have so many of them moving into Canada, usurping all of your rights. And there will be a point where the standard of living is going to just go like this, and your economy never gets any stronger. Don't measure GDP alone just by what it brings in when you don't have revenue to cover your system's costs. People's services get cut. There's no such thing as free anything. And anyone telling you that is not a real conservative. They never have been. Canada's a joke. These terms and definitions that are used when they're absolutely opposite than what really is. Show me a conservative government who really balances the budget. And don't say, oh, 1 year out of 7. 1 year out of 7 they did. That's a joke. Or, well, they borrowed astronomically against all future generations to balance the budget. Wow. Wow. How many Canadians can actually live like that? How long can a Canadian go? No, most Canadians are fundamentally conservative. They have a monthly budget, an annual budget. They balance their lives and make sure their families have what they need, and they live with what they have as best they can. And the government is sucking more and more. As you're all going to see, we're already watching our standard of living come crashing down. Every 4 years, you can look at the bar, government after government, federally, that's conservative, liberal, they flip-flop back and forth, and it only gets worse. And they always have excuses why they have to systematically take from you and your future and give it away to foreign interests. It's corruption. It's corruption on a massive scale. The monarchy system is garbage. It's been garbage for a very long time. It has no real place in this world today. And the evidence of that is clear. Civil law socialists are going through it. People say, oh, America, America, look at the debt they're taking on. They also own most of the world debt. If you take those together, USA doesn't own a thing. They sell off all their international organizations. Guess what? All the people of America are right as rain. They don't own nothing. That's not the same for countries like Canada. Canada is absolutely a pile of foreign debt. And now currently we print money. We print money at will, just like a Venezuela. Because you can say, oh, we're becoming communism. No, we're colonialism. We're crown-embedded colonialism of a constitutional monarchy that's allowed politicians to absolutely blow away your future. No different than a communism, really. It's an absolute autocratic dictatorship. They use creative words. They come up with songs like our national anthem that is absolutely opposite of what is legally in Canada. Absolutely opposite. We're not free. It's not our home and native land. It's not. It's not the law. Not the law as it is, and not how we're governed. Absolutely opposite. People have to wake up. People have to learn systems, or choose not to, but we are the problem in this world. We're one of them. We are one of those rogue UN states that doesn't operate internationally as we're supposed to. And that's because we're not democratic. And you all know it. Search your souls. Policy after policy, party after party, they tell you everything they're going to do, but then they go another direction every time. And it's always foreign-influenced, foreign-funded special interests. Not by we the people, but by those elite first-class citizens defined absolutely by the Constitution of Canada, the colonial crown power. That's reality. And they can try to attack you and tell you all these different things. It's all an absolute lie. You guys enjoy your day. I'm going to do another video at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for a good buddy of mine out in Alberta, 8 a.m. So he can relax this morning. I'm going to do another video, and that's going to be on small nuclear reactors, what Canadians need to know, what four dirty, filthy politicians are trying to perpetuate on the poor Canadian people once more. 4 provinces, 4 corrupt, dirty premiers. They're no better or no different than the Liberals. It's a scam. Of course, the federal government's into it, and we're going to talk about that, especially in relation to America's Green New Deal. I got to sit, like I said, with the UNSC. We know the scam. We already know what America's trying to do, and they're going to be very successful at it, as is UK with their wind offshore, very viable. We know what they're planning to do with the hydrogen cell. But how is Canada going to answer that? Are we even going to be able to compete? Stay tuned. 10 a.m.